The fires in LA should be causing more than fire alarms to ring. This is a wake-up call of where the godless policies of the left are leading this country. As I played at the top of the program yesterday, Pastor Jack Hibbs spoke this very clearly to his church at Calvary Chapel, Chino Hills in his Sunday message about where these policies of the left are leading us and how they endanger us as a nation. He joins me now, along with Steve Hilton with Golden Together from Los Angeles. Pastor Jack, Steve, welcome to Washington Watch. Thanks for joining me.
Great to be with you.
Thank you.
So, Pastor Jack, yesterday you described California as a third world state due to what you see as profound failures in leadership. Talk about that.
Tony, first of all, what led up to that statement was a graphic image. And the reason why that image was graphic was because of this. Nobody knew that the local reservoirs were out of water. Nobody knew that there was not a water supply to fire hydrants in this critical area. What did I see? I saw an LA County fireman taking a potted plant out of a pot, going over to a home that had been burned down to the ground. And as the water dripped out of its broken plumbing, he filled up what might be a 2.5-gallon pot, ran about 50 feet away to put out a little bit of a fire so it wouldn't spread anymore. And that's when I made that comment. I'm suddenly in a third world country here in one of the most wealthiest places on the planet. Makes no sense.
Yeah, Steve, they might not know that the reservoirs are empty, but they know what pronoun to use.
I mean, exactly. You just hit the nail on the head, because instead of what we need and we should expect, and by the way, what we pay for with the highest taxes in America, which is competent government and common sense policies, instead of that, we've had the people in charge obsessed with these fringe ideological issues and this terrible combination of ideology and incompetence. And you end up with the very basics of what we expect from government, which is safety and security, and these basic services like water and power delivered in a reliable and affordable manner. None of that happens in California because they are totally obsessed with their far left ideological schemes. That's why what we're doing today together is laying out not just a positive alternative vision for us here in Los Angeles in this moment of crisis right now, but as I've been working on at my organization, Golden Together, it's a policy organization that for years now has been laying out an alternative, a positive vision, how we can bring this state back to what it should be, which is the best of America, not the worst.
Well, the silver lining to this tragedy, shouldn't have to go down this path, but this shakes people out of this idea that these delusional policies of the left are harmless. The idea that your fire chief has been out promoting the fact that she started the first diversity initiative in the fire department. Well, that's great if everything is fine, but when things start to burn, people realize that cost us dearly. So is this the opportunity for a sea change?
Oh, I don't know who you're asking, but I'll jump in. Then Steve, you can back cleanup. Tony, it turns out that DEI is actually spelled DIE. That's what's going on. It leads to death. And the bottom line is this: that I would hope that in this interview, I would represent not only the House and the believers who vote, and we know in this last election they came out and voted, but how about if I were to represent, for example, the Californian who's fed up with all this stuff and they want to be safe and they want to go shopping and be safe and they don't want to pay $15 for, a Taco Bell visit. We can bring the votes, but no one's been motivated to vote because we haven't had the politicians. And so what we want is a statesman. What California needs is statesmen. And I'm hoping, I hate to put my friend on the spot, but I'm hoping Steve Hilton runs for governor. There's a lot of great people, Tony, in this state. We're calling them to step up. We'll bring them the votes if they run for office.
Steve, speak to that for a moment, because, again, when things are going fine, people don't care the foolish, at least some people don't care about the foolishness that political leaders engage in. But this is where the rubber meets the road. I mean, this is people's lives. It is their property. It's everything they've worked for going up in smoke because people are playing games.
Exactly. And you know, it's so interesting. This is the kind of thing we've been focusing on today. We were joined, Jack and I, here today with a retired LA firefighter, with a retired unit chief from Calvary, the state firefighting organization. And they're all saying the same thing. It's not complicated. We know how to do this. We used to do this. We used to have good governance in California, competent leadership that got things done and then let people live their lives, let families build their lives, let businesses do what they want to do. That's what California was all about. When was it like that? When Republicans were in charge. That's the honest truth. I mean, I was speaking just today, just this weekend with Governor Wilson, Pete Wilson. And he was telling me about his attitude to the recovery from the Northridge earthquake in 1994. Totally different from what we're seeing from the leadership, if you can call it that, in the state today. But the real point of hope for everyone is exactly as you say, this has shone a spotlight on all these failures. You got these Democrat politicians now going on about red tape and bureaucracy as if they've just discovered it. Well, we know, and we've been going on about it for years. They're making our arguments for us. They are digging their own grave. And so what's going to be happening in the weeks and months and years ahead as we focus on helping Los Angeles recover, we also need to focus on helping California recover and get back to what it used to be and what it can be again. But it's only going to happen if people change the way they vote. But I'm now very confident that that's going to happen.
Gentlemen, I would take it one step further with the reality that we first saw this DEI and the deadly consequences with the Secret Service when President-elect Donald Trump was almost assassinated. DEI policies and wokeness had invaded the Secret Service. We see this now with the LA Fire Department as this tragedy sets upon Los Angeles. My concern is our own nation's military that's been saturated with this wokeness and these DEI policies, that if we don't do a course correction, our nation is in tremendous danger. So hopefully not only will California wake up to this, but maybe the rest of the nation realize that these policies, as you said, Pastor Jack, it's not DEI, it's DIE. Gentlemen, we're out of time. I want to thank you for joining us today. Thank you for taking a stand there in California. Hopefully the rest of the nation will heed the warning as well. Great to see you guys.
Great. Thank you, Tony. Good to see you.